Have you ever asked yourself, what is your inspiration? If you don't have the answer to this question as yet, don't worry, you're not alone. Starting from grade school to college, I did not have any clue of what I was going to do, what career I would choose, or what kind of job or business that would inspire me or motivate me. All throughout my educational phase, I thought I was talentless. I did not have any drive, so going to school seemed like dragging my feet every single day. Oftentimes, I used to fall asleep as I have no interest in the subjects being taught. When it came time to decide what major I had to choose for college, I did not have to think very much because my friend joined business administration, and for me, that was the reason why I joined business administration too. I simply followed what others were doing. So there I was, majoring in business administration without even a clue what would have become of me and what field I would work in when I finished my studies. Because I was aimless. Again, studying in college didn't make any sense to me. It was a long and arduous journey. After my graduation, moving on to work phase of my life, it was my mom who had to decide what career path I needed to choose. Obviously, as a kid, you kind of have to listen to your mom, right? Because after all, they're the ones who paid for your tuition. You gotta give back, I thought. And if you don't know what you're going to do in life, you just have to take any suggestions you get in your plate. And for me, my mom's wish was to work in this specific foreign bank in Jakarta, and she specifically named the name of the bank that I would work in. So about 6 to 8 interviews later, there I was working for the bank that my mom wished for. The health cycle continued. Just like my grade school, junior high, high school, and college, I had to drag my feet constantly from 8 to 5. Every day was an agonizing wait for the time to go home. And all these years of dreading and working was a result of me not having an inspiration to know what I want to do in life. So today, when I ask you to ask yourself this question, I need you all to really ponder and think deeply to this question. If not, you might end up just like me, being pushed around simply because I did not know where I want to go. So how did my life change? From young age, I used to have this hobby of drawing sketches related to fashion. Somehow, pouring my imagination onto a piece of paper was what excites me. And thanks to my mom, who has this impeccable sense in fashion. I mean, she majored in architecture before I went back in Germany, and I think she got that sense of beauty from there. She is a very stylish lady and very particular with what she wore. As a family, we used to often travel to Europe, particularly to Italy, which is the epicenter of fashion, art, and beauty. All these elements gave me a sense of what beauty is all about, and I realized that fashion is equivalent to beauty. Through her sense of beauty, I started getting inspired by fashion. I started getting so influenced by her fashion sense that I even began to experiment colors and designs into the clothes that I wore. But as I grew older though, and started identifying my own fashion sense, I was the one who would update her with like fashion updates and became her fashion consultant. During college, I was lucky enough to have my parents allow me to purchase my clothes. This small act from my parents to allow me to purchase any clothes I wanted taught me my first lesson of how to become independent. It gave me a greater sense of confidence, both in my choice and fashion taste. My mom's fashion planted the seed to my future. So all these factors combined gave me a sense of direction that fashion could be something I should get more involved in. 20 years back here in Jakarta, there are not many choices of clothes. fashion industry was still at its infancy. Clothes were either very expensive, a bit outdated, or cheap, no quality. There was no mid-range of contemporary designs clothes for 20, 30 years old women. I personally felt that the fashion world in Jakarta was not vibrant enough. It all looked very ancient to me, especially compared to Europe and United States, perhaps. I found this loophole, the fashion business, and I thought to myself, I love fashion, and I know many good brands from around the world that could definitely work and excite the fashion crowd. Jakarta at that time did not have any proper contemporary range of fashion, so why not fill in the gap? So I started this side business of importing clothes from overseas with the help of my sisters. Our business started off really good. The small wins that I gained from testing the water gave me the confidence to leave my banking job and go all in to the fashion business. Because I had found my inspiration, I found my sense of purpose and direction in life. So the question that most of you may be having is how I find my inspiration. Personally, I want you to really ponder on this life-changing question. Personally, I felt that I took too long to get to know the answer to this question. And I do not want you to delay just like I did. So I will give you 3 suggestions on how to discover your inspiration. First, your inspiration cannot be driven by money. If you say that my inspiration to make $1 million or to have expensive car, expensive house, posh house, then you are looking for the answer in the wrong place. Money is important, but it should never be your #1 priority. What is it that makes you happy even though you won't be paid for? Think about it. Your inspiration should not be driven by money, but it is driven by a sense of purpose. For me, when a customer walks into my store, I don't think about how much sales can I wring out of this customer or what kind of expensive clothes can I sell to her. But the first thing in my mind is how can I make this customer look good? I always ask myself this question, what can I give to her that will beautify her or enhance her beauty? I will then suggest to her styles that would suit her body type, height, color of skin. This is important. Hide her weaknesses, enhance her already beautiful feature. My goal is to make my customer feel good about what she wears. It does not bother me if she buys clothes worth 1 million rupiah or 10 million rupiah. Selling as much as possible at the highest profit is not my goal. I want to create and give an experience with the customer. The experience she will not have when she visits other store. Sometimes I get calls from my customers who are shopping in overseas and ask me for advice if a certain style of clothes or accessories or colors would fit them. My clients would trust me with anything fashion related, even if they're doing their own personal shopping. My opinion matters because they know I will genuinely give them an honest advice. You will be surprised that if you do what inspires you, money will flow to you. My second suggestion, read and listen to podcasts of subject that interests you. There are many institutions and videos that offer countless podcasts that correlates with your interests. I grew up not understanding the value of reading. I never made it a priority. I remember when my son was just in his first grade, his teacher told me the importance of reading at length. Even though the advice was for my son, I felt that that grade 1 teacher was telling me that I should read more. And so I started reading. It really opened up my views. I got into loving to read biographies of successful people or great leaders. And you know what all these successful people share in common? the love to read. I fell in love with books only during my adult life. Books can really open up your imagination, and my view on reading is really one of the best ways to improve one's chance of one succeeding in life. My goal is to read 90 to 100 books a year. I know some of you may think it's a lot, but there are tricks that I use, like using apps in my phone where I set into a certain length of time of reading in a day. And that app helps me to compete with myself and set a target. Read as many self-help books or autobiographies. Read as many as you can, especially if you have a role model. My son started to love reading basketball book because of his hobby, basketball. So he read a book about Kobe Bryant, and now he loves to read as many books as possible. My daughter, on the other hand, she loves art. So I recommended her a book of the life of Leonardo da Vinci, and she loved it. All of you, start by reading what you love. A book focuses the mind in a way that nothing else quite does. When you're reading, you set a real time to it, an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I really encourage people to read. It is the best way to foster your imagination. The more you read, the better we can build up and expand our knowledge, new ideas, and understanding of new things. Eventually, sooner or later, you will find your inspiration. And finally, always have a sense of gratitude. I feel blessed and grateful for what I receive in my life. And it is this feeling of gratitude that fuels me with enthusiasm to do my job every single day. Gratitude is not simply me saying thank you or geez, I'm so happy to be alive. No, but rather it is an activating, energizing force that may lead me to pursue my goal and become better. For example, I make it a point that I wake up early in the morning and reach my office earlier than my employees who has to travel by bus, trains, taxi, or driving, and take them at least 2 hours daily. Because I'm grateful to them, how can I come to the office at my own leisure time? It is this feeling of gratefulness that shows me the way on what I have to do with my life. Listen to this. Gratitude motivates us not only to improve our own lot in life, but also the circumstances of the people around us. So now that I've shared with all of you my experience, I want you to think of the answers to this question in your life. What is your inspiration? Thank you.